Good evening mga kalaro and welcome to the Council of Titos, the show on the Laro-Laro channel that talks about a different kind of game. The reality TV game show and social experiment that has run for over 2 decades, Survivor. I'm Chief Bisdak, Joel Parcon, and with me as always is Chuck's the Potito, Jao Atienza. What's up, Jao? How are you doing?
Are you feeling the cringe? Are you feeling the cringe, my friends?
Yes.
I'm certainly feeling the cringe.
Also with us is the man with the thoughts, the man with the puns, none other than Martin Vicencio himself. How are you doing, Martin?
I'm really trying my best, Joe. I'm trying to jump. All my tribe is backing me up except that Jan. Damn it, Jan. We're trying to be supportive here.
Okay, for tonight we are going to talk about episode 4 of Survivor Season 46 entitled Don't Touch the Oven. But before we begin, do consider hitting the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you get updated whenever we come up with new episodes on this channel. And for those of you who don't want to have to look at our mugs whenever we talk Survivor, you can always go wherever you get your podcasts and search for Council of Titos. And so, without further ado, let's begin. What is the highest of the high for this past episode?
For
You know,
me,
A lot.
it's gonna be this. Yeah, actually,
A lot.
but
I
gotta
actually
talk
found a
about the
lot of
Nami one.
highs. Yeah.
Yeah. The editing
Okay.
for that scene in Nami, like when they were just doing the jam, the editors just piped in some music, and then there's already a soundtrack during the just a
Which
day
part?
in the
Which
life
part is
of
this?
Nami camp. I think it was early on before the challenge. It was
Yeah, Soda and Tevin.
Kevin. That was a
Mhm.
nice scene. I was like saying, wow, they got the backing of Survivor post-production editing on this one, and I like it. Props to the editors for adding that extra thing to make it extra special.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that it might have been a camp song they just put in there,
Uh-huh.
right?
You
I
know,
think so.
you know what? I was listening to On Fire, and
Mm.
Jeff talked about it specifically. Apparently, Soda and Tevin got royalties for when they used that song,
What?
Ooh, nice.
right? Because
So
Damn.
they along with the dude that does all of the music of
Uh-huh.
Survivor are registered as the composers of that song.
Holy shit.
Nice.
Good job then.
So it's
Good
like,
job, CBS.
yeah,
Good job. Wow. What?
yeah. I mean,
That's
it was a potential lawsuit if they didn't, right? Like,
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
you know,
actually.
so it's like
Oh.
not necessarily good job CBS, right? Because we
Mhm.
can't
Due
say good
diligence.
job for
Doing what you're
Somebody-
supposed to do.
Yes,
yeah,
what
doing
you're
what they're
supposed
supposed to do. You know, that's the thing. But yeah, it was really good. And yeah,
Mm.
apparently it was registered, or apparently they get royalties for it. And if ever
Okay.
they use it in the upcoming seasons, which they might,
think
like
so.
it's a recurring source of income, or it's yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's funny that we get it from Soda and Devin, and we didn't get it from we haven't gotten anything from Ben. Right?
Man.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Oh! Question. If Soda and Devin got royalties for that, do you think that Sifu got royalties for his mashup song from last season with J Maya?
Good question. Jao, was there any news on that? Because I don't listen to Jeff's podcast. There should be, right?
It wasn't a fully four. I don't know, man. I mean, we just know of this like specific instance
Mhm.
where it happened. Like, wow.
Well, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Nice,
That's pretty
man.
cool to figure that, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
oh man.
Props to Soda and Devin for coming up with something really good.
Well, apparently they were both part of the professional association that of like composers or whatever. So like this isn't their first rodeo, right? Like CBS was prepared to like register them or sign them up. That way they could get royalty payments and all of that. But apparently, like Soda and Tevin were already like members of the professional association union. I don't know.
Oh.
And so it wasn't their first rodeo. I mean, I can understand Tevin, right, being
Mm-hmm.
an actor. You know, there's
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that like if you're, you know, if you um if you dabble in theater, that's probably closely linked to music, and so you probably do have some sort of affiliation with whatever professional association exists there. But as for Soda,
It's
interesting
weird.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, but then when you listen to her voice, you can tell that she's a singer.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm guessing that Tevin is more than an actor. He's probably also dabbled in like writing and doing all of those other things that you sort of start getting into if you start in acting, right? You start
Yeah.
writing a musical, and so he probably got into that. He probably signed up for that. That's probably how he got signed up into that association, right? Now, also, I've got
Indeed,
another
man.
question. So we've got Devin and Soda on the Nami tribe. Do you think we're gonna get a song also from Charlie and Ben?
It's just a matter of time. Like,
You know, I wouldn't be
you know,
surprised. You know, I don't think Charlie is much of a music person. He's just a Taylor Swift
yeah.
person. Like
Uh-huh.
I could probably see like a Ben and like Tevin
That would be
and
nice.
Soda sort of like
Mhm.
this is why we need Ponderosa videos.
True.
Yeah, yeah,
This is why we
Survivor.
need Ponderosa videos, because if they get booted out, you know that they're going to be writing music on
Mhm.
Ponderosa, and
Mhm.
it's gonna be better than the Ponderosa songs of the
The-
past.
Of Coach and JT and Courtney. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Wait,
need a new
who
one.
made the rap song? Who made
Oh,
that R&B song? Who was the one who first recorded that song? There is one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I
Heidi
forget who it is, but
Whitey's.
anyway.
Heidi White.
Yeah, like I know that Wendell
Oh,
like
Wendell. Yeah.
rapped it, but then he wasn't
Mhm.
the one that came up with it. It was like
Yeah, yeah,
a callback, right?
yeah,
Let me
yeah.
look that up. Chris Noble.
Oh, the one that, yeah, during Wendell's season. Right.
Living the Dream on Ponderosa. Swung
Ponderosa.
for the senses. I call it Sammy Sosa.
Yeah, that one, that one.
Oh God, I love that. I love
Yeah,
that.
but if well, I hope that Soda doesn't get to come up with a song in Ponderosa because that would mean that she's already voted off and she's my winner pick. But anyway, yeah, I'm sure that a collaboration between her among her and Tevin and Ben would be really good to listen to. Right.
Yeah, that song, man, that was definitely a high. It was something that got me uh that got definitely got my attention. Like, oh my god, this is really good.
Mhm.
So,
And then on the side, you've got Hunter, like, just cringing because he doesn't like the songs.
Yeah.
he's in this get off my yard kind of situation. That.
Yeah, he's just like, oh man. You're you're lucky you know how to build stuff, Hunter.
And
No
he's
music
lucky that
appreciation.
he's got like he is oh, I remember I said that he was like the Jonathan Young of this season,
Oh,
but
Yeah.
he
to
proved it
Tevin
again.
though.
He
To
proved
Tevin
it
though,
again.
he's not the
Yeah.
Jonathan. He's Jordan. Michael Jordan.
He's not Michael Jordan though. He isn't Michael Jordan.
Oh,
He's Rick Barry. He's Rick
Rick.
Barry with a
Oh,
grandma
and
free throw.
the free throw.
Yeah, the
Oh yeah,
underhand free throw.
I'm
Yeah,
glad you noted that. The
Yeah.
Rick Barry one.
yeah.
I actually wanted to talk about that.
Uh-huh.
I actually wanted to talk about
See,
that because the physics of it works out, right?
yes.
Yeah.
And
And
people
So
like
why
dunk
don't
on that.
more basketball players actually do that?
I don't
because
know.
what
Because
was it?
no,
Yeah.
it just looks funny. They don't want to be they don't want to be made fun of, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was like a player in the 70s or 80s or whatever that was
Rick Barry.
notoriously bad at shooting free
Oh,
throws and tried doing the underhand thing. His free throws dramatically improved,
Mhm.
but decided against continuing on with that technique.
Yeah.
I don't remember who it was.
I think that was Wilt. I think it was Wilt. Wilt
Will Chamberlain?
Chamberlain. Yeah, I think
It
so.
might
I'm
be.
not
Yeah, might be.
It
Might
might
be.
have been. Because it doesn't look cool. It doesn't look
Yeah.
cool to do it that's why they call it the grandmama shot.
the
Right?
Yeah.
Just as if it's a
But
grandma shooting the free throw.
but it works.
It works. It works.
Unless
That's
the
why. That's why Rick Barry
right
had one of the highest free throw
free throw
percentages for the
percentage.
longest time. Career free throw percentages. Right?
Yeah.
Like
He
they
shot it
don't accept
underhand.
it.
No, they do. It was in the record books, but
Yeah,
it just doesn't look cool. It
yeah.
just doesn't look
Yeah.
cool. But I mean, props to Hunter for being able to find what works and
Yeah,
sticking to it. Right?
that's right.
It was
And even
science teacher. Come on.
yeah, even the ring thing. Right?
Yeah,
One
he
of the rings
was.
got lodged on top, and he was like, "Can I climb it?" And Jeff was like, "No climbing allowed." Okay, I'll just knock it off, but it still goes into the pole, and I'll just
Yeah.
shoot the other two. Right? The guy is phenomenal. The
Yeah.
guy is phenomenal.
Like I
Can
can
we?
imagine
Yeah.
I can imagine a Peridium video with like you know those the videos like X number of times players hack challenges.
Mm.
Like I
Yeah,
can see
he games it.
you know, and I can see Hunter like forming an entire list of that, you know, like
Yeah.
No- knowing the first survivor MacGyver and his political, leniencies, can we just make this guy the new survivor MacGyver moving forward, as the previous, episode said? Right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
He's good. He's good.
He's really
no
good. He's really good.
He's really
But
good.
the thing is, aside from being because I said that he was like the
Yeah.
Jonathan Young of this season, but aside from that, it's good to see that he's not just a challenge beast, and he's not just someone
Yes.
who does
Yeah.
stuff on camp,
Yeah.
but he also strategizes. I mean
Strategize. Yeah.
mhm.
that scene with
With
Tevin
Tevin.
and
Yeah.
him doing that confessional, saying that he's got his sights on Soda because Soda
Soda.
is close to Tevin as well. So I
Mm.
Easy
mean,
to open it.
yeah, he's for me he's better than Jonathan Young, and well, he's better than Jaden from Survivor Australia.
Oh.
Who was just there for a fun time. There's this guy Morts from Survivor Australia,
Australia.
big Samoan dude.
Martin,
Uh,
you should know
Oh,
him. You
he's
should
the
know
guy who had
him.
a tryout. The
yeah, yeah,
guy with a
yeah, yeah,
tryout.
Yeah,
the
in
guy who
Perth.
yeah,
The
and
guy with a
he
tryout.
he's a monster in challenges, but
Yeah.
he's really there just for mostly
Strategy.
for a good time. No, just for
I,
a good time.
I think he was just waiting for Grayson Waller to grab him and get him to WWE. And good on him, he got to the WWE tryouts. That's step one. So
Oh,
good
that's
on you,
nice.
Jaden.
That's
You'll
Yeah,
get
nice.
the
more
what's it?
money anyway. You'll get more money.
What was it? He had that one really cool
Yeah,
that one really cool move though, but it was like it
Oh,
pretty much
the one of the
amounted
revenge thing.
the
yeah,
revenge.
it amounted to nothing, just like um playing an idol on Mark, but then like
Mm.
that's a different podcast. That's a different
Yeah,
Mhm.
It's the
Okay.
Australian Survivor
yeah.
gushing about how much we like it podcast, but right now we're here to talk about episode 4 of Survivor
Episode 4.
46. And
What
and
other highs do you guys have?
Is it okay if we stick to Nami? Because you
Go
mentioned it earlier,
ahead.
like
Go ahead.
Jonathan and Tevin talking about soda. But a
Hunter,
few
Hunter.
Hunter and Tevin talking about soda, because a few moments before that, during the same scene, it was soda trying to be the social butterfly, trying to strategize with left and right, and then a few
Mhm.
seconds later it'll be Tevin saying, you know what, maybe it's better we take out soda first, and then every other guy, it wasn't just Hunter, it was also, I think, the lady with glasses, what's her name,
Liz.
Liz also agreed, and Liz had the target on her back in the first 2 episodes, right? So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, anyone but me. So it goes to show, like, these guys got game. The problem is we don't see them much because they weren't losing. So
Yes.
when their first tribal's coming, it's gonna be epic. I don't know which one of them is gonna be voted out first, but right now it seems like it's gonna be Soda. But if Soda is also as smart as Tevin and Hunter in the same range of game, it's most likely to be interesting how the fireworks are gonna start in tribal. And it
Mhm.
might be as soon as the very first as that first tribal when they are merged. Because I think they'll
Mm.
be in it for the long run.
yeah.
If there's no swap, I think they'll be sticking.
You know,
Yeah.
I
They both
remember
have.
when when watching like when watching Soda do the whole social butterfly thing,
Yeah.
my mind couldn't help but wander and think back to Survivor 42 and specifically Joel's winner pick, Joel's early winner pick in the person of Swati.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, Swati was
You're
very.
my number one.
You're my number one.
You're my number
You're my
one.
number. You're my
That
number
was a
one.
Swati. That was a Swati. Yeah, I remember
Yeah.
now. That's
It's
how
like,
that's
Yeah,
you know,
true.
that's how
oh, Joel's winner pick.
it's back.
but yeah, oh my god. I hope that it doesn't happen to Soda. I hope that she learned from Swati. Not saying that people are her number one. You know, she did only say that Tevin is her confidant. That's it.
Yeah,
She didn't like say that anyone else was her number one.
yeah.
She was just keeping tabs on everyone else. Right?
I just found that funny.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Now that you mentioned it, yeah. I hope that my new winner pick does not suffer the same fate as my
The
season
Swati.
42 winner pick. Yeah.
But if there's anything to go with this, it means like no, she's a very capable strategic player, and that's going to be interesting to see in the next few episodes.
Mm.
Mm.
So we really hope they don't lose us an immunity run, because I would like to see this thing duel it out at merge as an epic merge, tribal.
But that would mean, Marts, though, that they don't lose at all until and they keep the 5 that they've got, and then the other
I
5.
hope so. I really hope so. 'Cause
Right?
this is good. This shouldn't
How
like
how many
finish
gets
like the
to
next
merge?
episode.
10, right?
Ah,
Final 10.
10.
It's final 10
Yeah.
that gets to merge.
They just gotta stick together somehow and not get a medevac.
Well, it's yeah. Well, they already had that, but it's not unimaginable for them to actually make a run all the way to merge. I mean, with Hunter and in their lineup, and seemingly no one else. Well, you've got Q, but then again, there's just 3 of them left. But yeah,
I want to go to that later. I think.
there I don't know that
Yeah.
I don't know if there is anyone on Siga can actually match up with Jonathan.
Exactly.
Oh, sorry, with Hunter.
Hunter.
Mm.
Exactly. And I think with a core tree, sorry, Banu, with a core tree of Q, Kenji, and Tiffany.
Mhm.
Yeah, I saw the last
Tiff-
challenge. They were so capable on the water. They're so fast. If you just took out Banu, I think they would have, destroyed Siga with 3 people.
Yes.
With 3
Yes. Now I
people.
want to jump on that and get
All
to
right,
my
go,
highest
go,
of highs.
go.
My highest of highs.
I'm not even mad. I'm
Finally.
not even
Finally, Banu got eliminated. Banu finally got voted out. I'm sorry, Marts. I know that he was your winner pick, but he was just. I mean, and I know that Jeff Probst is very high on him, but
Yeah.
I don't
It
know.
just doesn't work. It just
It was scored. It was good for TV for like the first moments.
yes, but
But as it wore on, his act got tired and tiring to watch.
it reminded me of Winners at War. Who's that guy? Mike? No. Who's the bearded guy that just couldn't shut up and give the secret to Rob Mariano or something? And then, oh my God, yes, this is our plan to take you off and blah 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 blah. And then Rob's like, "What? I just said
Who?
how are you doing." It felt like that, and every episode with Banu just spilling the beans every time.
Who was it? Ben? Was it Ben?
I think it was Ben. I remember that like there was one time he just said something
I
minimally
don't remember
Ben. So, like,
But yeah, Banu. I mean,
yeah,
I'm sure that he's probably a very good guy, really good guy, but he had no place in the game. He had
That's
no place
true.
in the game, and I'm relieved that he's out of the game for his sake.
Exactly.
Because
Like,
had he stayed in the
that's the
game,
high.
yes, had he stayed in the game, he would only have spiraled further
too
down. I think.
And
Not
the
unless,
biggest threat.
yeah, not unless I like I predicted last time. We got a swap and he got into a tribe that had mostly Siga players.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Mm.
He still would have been ostracized in a Nami dominated tribe, and he already was on the outs in a Yanu tribe, in the Yanu tribe, right? So
That's true.
yeah, unless he
Yeah.
got that swap, I'm glad for him that he's out of the game because we go back, Martin Zhao, to the whole concept of being a fan of the game and being a fan of the show. He
Yep.
definitely is a. He
Just
says that he's a
fan of
super
this.
fan. But he's a super fan of the show. He's not a
Yeah,
super.
not the
He's just.
strategy.
He's not. Yeah, he has no place in the game. He has no
Yeah.
place in the game.
And to add to Joel, like that's true. I think this is the right time to take him out.
Last
Cause
episode was the right time to take him out.
Yeah. I have thoughts on that as
no,
well,
no,
but
no, no.
okay,
It,
go ahead, Martz.
it was a nice episode last episode too. Because it was historical. Oops, you'll stay.
Yeah.
Because it was already dreading for this. I was also dreading for the spiral in this episode when he said, like, hey Tiffany, I did this during the island challenge. Like, Tiffany was like, because it reminded me back in Survivor, fans versus favorites too, when Brendan Hans had that spiral. That
Mhm.
there's a high risk he'd be a Brandon Hans, and it would take more than Jeff to massage his shoulders to calm him down.
No, I think that if Jeff
Really?
massages his shoulders, he just break
Yeah,
down and hug Jeff.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
all he's
yeah.
gonna do. It's not. He's not gonna blow up. I don't think he's gonna blow up. He's just his
Uh,
is a different kind of spiral. I think
spiral.
compared
Yeah.
to Brandon, to Brandon.
Because
Yeah.
for me, the
Yeah.
threat was high already midpoint this episode. So yeah,
I
one of the
Yeah.
highs
mean,
is
I wouldn't
the
say it's a
way he
threat.
got voted out. The way he got, because it wasn't a blind side that was
Yeah.
already there. At least even he accepted it. That yeah, it's him. It's him tonight. That was
Mm.
actually a nice send off. I
Mhm.
think it gave him more time because had it been last episode, I think he would be a blubbering guy. Like he would be uncontrollably sobbing instead of like he accepted it a bit well now. I
Mm.
don't think that would have been the case last episode if they did the votes.
right.
Yeah.
A
Yeah,
lot of
anyway,
thoughts on this
go,
Banu
Bhanu,
thing. A
Go
lot of
ahead.
thoughts on
Go
this
ahead.
Banu
Go
thing.
ahead.
go.
The thesis statement is you either die a hero or see yourself live or live long enough to see yourself become the villain, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I think that one of the worst things that happened to Banu was Randon getting medically evacuated
Oh, okay.
because he was because getting medically evacuated meant that Banu got to stay on the tribe like longer,
Mhm.
which in turn got him to like break down just a little bit more. And
Oh,
like, like last episode, your mileage may vary when it comes to the enjoyment of the episode, depending on how much you like or dislike Banu, right? But like I think this particular episode was a little Banu heavy, so
Yes.
much so that um if we look at all of our highs coming out of this episode, I was just looking at my notes. All of the highs from this episode are pretty much everything that wasn't Yanu.
Mm.
ah,
True.
Like
that's
camp life
true.
moments that weren't
It was
Yanu
nice. It was very nice.
were like all of my highs from this episode. And I was wondering whether or not it was because of those moments in and of themselves, or because these are moments that are put up against Banu, who after like 2 3 episodes, focusing on his story, is starting to become a little bit stale, given that we have a limited number of episodes on this season,
Mhm.
right? So you know you you either die a hero or um live long enough to see yourself become a villain. I was watching no buffs, right?
Mhm.
And one of the jokes that uh they put out there was like, yeah, Banu uh won a million hearts. Hell, he won my heart, but like he but then after this episode he lost my heart.
Oh, what? He
you
got
know
your heart, and he
right,
lost. Okay.
right, because it was
Mhm.
like
He
it
was
was like
endearing up to a certain point. He was
Yeah.
endearing up to a
yeah,
certain point, but the whole shtick of being this sad and being downplayed by everyone else. That whole thing, it it overstayed its welcome,
Yeah,
right?
okay, yeah.
Yeah. It was like he was when he was groveling before Tiffany,
Ah, yeah.
that's when he lost me.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
Well, well, his I want to practice with you. Like, bro, wait, come on. Come on, come
What?
on.
I I
What?
think when I rewatched it, I think that was his attempt at becoming at practicing the social aspect of it,
Mm,
because he
yeah.
never I don't think he ever really connected with Kenzie, and because he got some coaching from Q about the game of Survivor, he was like, okay, I'm already sort of okay in a social from a social standpoint with Q. Let me try and see if I can make some social connections, because that's what there was a part in their conversation, Q and Banu. It's not about the strategy; it's about building bonds, right?
Ah.
So I think that he was trying it out, but Kenzie just flat out, "I'll practice with you later." And I don't. I mean, they said that Kenzie snapped at him, but we probably did. There's probably
We would have
something
as
that was
well,
cut.
though. It was,
I mean, there was probably something that was cut,
yeah.
that because I don't see how Kenzie actually snapped at him, right? It
Hmm.
was just, I want to practice with you. I'll practice with you later, right? There was nothing. There's no. I mean, Kenzie was like lying down. She was like relaxed, right? And I don't know. There's probably an exchange that we didn't see.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, you know what? Props to Kenzie.
Hmm.
Props to Kenzie for for being able to identify that, like, you know what, we might actually, you know, have to move forward with this guy if we win immunity. So, like, I have to apologize to
Mm-hmm.
him, even though, like, it
He's
wasn't,
annoying.
you know,
He's
necessarily
yeah.
like warranted or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, um in dealing with people, it always helps to be the one that apologizes,
True.
if you know, um especially if both people are somewhat at fault. Like, it takes the bigger person or whatever to be able to, you know, make the apology first. And like, that was like huge props to Kenzie. Her social game is on point, but
Mm-hmm.
I think more than her social game being on point, like, her being human, being a good
Ah,
human,
yes.
you know,
Agree.
is on point because of that. um yeah, so there, no. uh one high, I think, from this whole Banu thing was, Martin, like, alluded to this in the episode last week, but it was a creative choice for them in this specific episode to show the stages of grief,
Mm-hmm.
when talking about Banu's sort of death in the game. And I
Yeah.
think part of that might be why, um we found it kind of annoying, right? Because they had to show his anger, they had to show his bargaining, they had to show his depression. And,
Mm.
you know, sometimes you don't want to see that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, and you don't you you don't want to see a dude, like, curse God, especially after,
Yeah.
you know, he
That's
came
God's
off of
spirit. Yeah.
especially after he came off of what was, for all intents and purposes, a miracle in,
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, and the last episode.
Randon leaving. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you might want to say, you might, I don't bleep this out. When I was watching the episode with my wife, and, like, he did the whole curse. I was it curse, but whatever it was that he said, she was like, that
Mm-hmm.
ungrateful shit. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like, because
Exactly. Exactly.
because, like, he
Yeah.
already got his
Uh,
break, you know, last week, right? And,
yeah, last week.
you know, to sort of screw up the second
Screw up,
chance,
yeah.
the screw up the
Mhm.
third chance that one that he was given. I don't know, but yeah, I suppose from a production like storytelling standpoint, the Kubler-Ross, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. The stages of grief. I really like that as like a framework for storytelling. Like I've
Mhm.
used that more than once when writing music to, talk about the death
Mm.
of one's innocence or of youth, the death of a relationship. It makes for a really good framework. Like it's
Mhm.
right up there with Dan Harmon's Story Circle, or the hero's journey, right? Like
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a nice little crutch that we can sort of lean into. But man, they really put Banu through the ringer.
Ooh,
I'm not sure
it's
how familiar you guys are with the work of Mars Ravelo, but
hard.
the
Uh,
thing that kept on going through my mind, and Filipino like comic book aficionados should know this, was napaka-bonjing naman itong tao na to,
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
right? Like, like that very sort of immature kind of personality in a grown man's body.
Mhm.
And I don't I'm pretty sure that that's not how Banu is, but um that's how it came across. And in a way, I feel pity for him because of
Yeah.
that. Like, not I don't obviously feel pity for the character of Banu, but like for the person of Banu, it's like it, I don't know how to. I don't know whether I feel like he was done dirty, or if this was like him bringing, uh, you know, all of this upon himself.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, I just feel pity for the guy. And I'm not sure that was the intended that was the sort of intended emotion that the editors, producers, storytellers of this
Mhm.
season wanted, as a reaction from the audience. But that's how I felt. And it's like,
Mhm.
oh, I don't
I
know. I don't
I
know
I
if
I
he was done
feel
dirtier than Jamie, but you know.
yeah,
Okay.
I feel that this was sort of like, when you have like a protagonist in a story, and you want, as a writer, or as a director, as a creator, you want your audience to empathize with that protagonist. I think
Yeah.
that they were trying to bring us there, to empathize with Banu, but because his journey was cut short, they just left it there, right? And they hyper focused on pushing his journey, his circumstances on the audience. That, and it was for like 3 4 episodes. It was all that. That's all that we kept on seeing. How sad, how sad Banu is, how poor, how yeah, how pitiful, right? And yeah, even his, I mean, props for him for his backstory, the one that he told during tribal, right? Coming
Yeah.
from poverty, coming from living situations not unlike the camp, right?
Yeah.
So props to him for being able to come from that and become a, well, I'm guessing he's now, he was able to get to the US and make a living, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, if they had probably given us that earlier, and if he probably would have done better in the game, right? We would have been rooting for Banu.
Mhm.
I would have been
Yeah.
rooting for Banu. But yeah,
It's so weird because he's supposed to be a super fan of Survivor. Like,
mm,
in even in theory, he should know
Strategy.
the moves and the strategy, and like and like should know that should know that deceit is a part of Survivor, in the same way that deceit is part of like the Resistance or
Mm.
Werewolf,
Or
right?
Avalon or Werewolf. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
or one of
Avalon.
those
Even
social deduction games,
yeah,
right?
even what was her name? The Survivor Australia winner, Tiff, right? It was Tiff, right? Marts
Which
Survivor.
Oh, Survivor
Sorry,
Australia.
a Survivor
Oh,
Outback.
sorry.
Survivor Outback. Second
Yeah.
Which
season.
episode?
What's her
Second
name?
season. Tiff, right? Or
Uh,
the one who beat Colby. Anyway, the
yeah.
one who
Oh,
beat Colby.
Tina
Tina,
Tina,
Wesson.
there
there
we
we
go.
go.
Tina Wesson.
Tina
Yeah.
Wesson.
Tina
What's up?
Wesson.
I
What
should
happened?
I
Yeah.
should know this. This is like my favorite Survivor season.
But yeah, so even Tina, she had to lie when she was on the show.
Yes.
When
She
in
told us
real
that.
life, she lives an honest life, right? And for the most part, I think all of the castaways are live honest lives outside of the game, right? But it is a part of the game. But like I said, I think that he is a super fan. Yes, he's a super fan, but of the show, not of
But
the game.
even as a super fan of the show, you should be cognizant of like the basic,
Yeah,
unless
just basic,
unless
right?
unless he felt
Basic.
like unless he felt like um he could do something different.
And
You know?
then, well, he did
He's
have
trying to
that
make a
sort
new
of like
meta.
I think that he had that sort of epiphany during one of his slow mo walks right before he lay down on the
Slow-mo.
ground. Right, right
Uh,
before he lay down on the ground, he was like, "Truth, honesty has no place in this game," or something like that.
Yeah.
He said something like that. So yeah, you're right. He probably was trying to come up with something new, a new way to play the game.
Yeah, he was
Uh,
trying for some sort of weird emergent gameplay that focuses on radical honesty as like as a as a strategy in Survivor.
mhm.
Either that or he just had no like self awareness. But as somebody that likes to give people the benefit of the doubt, I'm gonna think it's the former. That he was like, you know what, I'm going to try this like radical new strategy or whatever that's never been successful before. I'm
Mhm.
gonna go radical honesty.
Mhm.
I'm going to um be my most authentic self to a fault. Like I don't know. That's me wanting to give people the benefit of the doubt, trying to see the best in human beings. The one of the bad habits I picked up from teaching.
Well, yeah. Let's hope that was what he was trying to do. Because me, the devil's advocate, likes to think that he was actually in it for the screen time. He was really in it for the screen time, especially since it's come out that he's like he's also an actor. He's also done acting jobs. He's also a
Yeah.
dancer, so he's not unlike Devin. But yeah, and he just wanted to get some mileage out of being in Survivor. Yeah,
There was
but
there's that conspiracy theory. Well, I really hate how the word conspiracy theory is used when there's
mm,
no actual conspiring that's going on.
yeah.
Although I do have an actual conspiracy theory about Survivor, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. Um,
uh,
but there is that conspiracy theory going around that that he's all just acting. This is all
Mm.
acting, and that he's like the most brilliant thespian. And he's the most brilliant thespian that Survivor has ever seen. Like so much so that um he was able to fool like everybody right from the beginning of the casting process up until like his eventual exit from the game, that he was such a good actor that everybody believed. And I like that actually. Like, just the thought that this is all just like him being a great actor.
Okay,
Again,
again, that's you
again,
giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Man, conspiracy theory where there are no conspiracies, when there's no actual conspiring going on. I
Uh-huh.
really, people have language pet peeves. That's one of mine.
Mm. Mm. True.
Yeah.
What about you,
Uh,
Marts? Anything to add about
My
your winner pick?
my winner pick. Well, I was about to say the stages of grief, but you already said it, so yeah, I gotta agree. I guess the acceptance was during the tribal council. That's why I liked how he exited in this episode. Like it's all but
yeah.
truth been told, everything's been laid out. You know what? Let's not do the votes. You have no vote. Bhanu, get the torch, and then it's just a quick, it's just a somber exit. But
Mhm.
as is the stages of death, accepting, of his death in the game, so to speak.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
Jeff, give him a hug.
I know. Usually Jeff doesn't even initiate a hug.
Yeah, right. Usually
Right? This is
people try to awkwardly approach him.
no.
We're like,
Yeah, and
Jeff gave the hug.
yeah, but and Jeff is more connected with those who actually get past the merge, like these guys have been through a lot. But this time, I mean, Jeff is really high on the guy. I think he was defending how
Uh,
sincere Banu is apparently in real life. I heard that somewhere else. That Jeff clapped back at other people who are again probably purporting the quote unquote conspiracy theory that he mentioned,
conspiracy.
right? Yeah, and then he was like that he's one of the most sincere guys, and I think he even alluded to probably wanting him back on the show or on Survivor. Yeah.
yeah, Survivor head versus heart. I'd be down. I'd be down for that. Like on the
Head.
heart tribe.
So why not make it head versus heart versus hands? There you go. So people who do,
Ooh.
people who think, and people who feel. Again, it's
Ooh, so like in the heart tribe.
Bhanu. Carolyn.
Carolyn,
yeah.
Bhanu.
Marianne.
Mhm.
Yes, there has to be a winner, Marianne. Who's in
Right.
41?
Yeah.
41 was Erica, but anyway, she wasn't. I don't know.
I don't think she's heart though.
She was just
I
she was
think
just
she's
winner.
heart.
She was just winner, and
Yeah,
that's
She
it.
was just a winner.
Winner.
She was just the winner, man. She
Yeah.
Yeah.
she won my heart. Let's just put it that way.
Bruce, Heart Tribe. Oh my god.
Oh my God,
This is
Bruce
gonna be the
again.
best tribe.
I don't know.
The hot
Sifu.
mess tribe.
Sifu. Oh,
Actually,
but
that'd be
yeah,
cool, huh? Head, heart, and
that would
hands.
be good.
Right.
I got one more high. This time
Yeah,
the
go
Green
ahead, man.
Tribe. Is it okay? The Green Tribe.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so I like that this tribe is really kumbaya. Like they even taught one of their tribe mates to jump.
Mhm.
Of all things, of all basic human function, to jump. Okay.
I have a low there. I have a low with that specific moment.
Okay.
I just
We'll
found
talk
it
about that
amusing.
later. Anyway, you.
But I mean, it's a
Yeah.
joke low.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
it's a joke.
All right.
Why?
Ben mentioned David Lee Roth.
Uh huh.
Oh, you thought
CBS,
that.
you're telling me that you didn't shell out money to license Jump?
Jump. Dun, 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 dun.
Like
Maybe
you
they
already
should've just
did that with
gotten
the
Ben
Andy
to
Griffith
sing.
show.
Yeah,
Actually,
that's a miss. That's a miss for them.
Right? Like I don't know, man. Nicolas Cage won't be happy.
Yeah,
that was fun.
but yeah, I mean, yeah, I got here in my note. It's White Mo can't jump.
Yeah, White Mo can jump. But who was teaching White Mo?
White
Two
Charlie.
white,
Uh,
two white guys. Two white guys.
wait, what was the other
Homegirl, what
one?
was it? She said homegirl can't
Very-
jump, right?
Homegirl can't jump. Yeah,
Yeah,
she did say that. I like that.
That would have been an amazing
that was
episode
good fun.
title.
yeah.
Actually, it would have been better.
We should have a recurring segment on this podcast, like
What?
alternate titles.
Alternate titles.
Yeah, we always come up with those, right? We always used to come
Yeah.
up with those.
Yeah. Homegirl Can't Jump
Homegirl
would have
Can't
been a
Jump.
great one.
Homegirl can't jump. Yeah. Speak. Yeah. But going to one of my highs, I actually still have some highs here, and there. I mean,
Yeah.
the bulk of the high was really finally Bhanu got voted out. That was the bulk of the high. But I do have some other highs here. Like, say, for example, I liked how the reward challenge was leveled the playing field, making sure that all of the castaways had to get their own ring. Right? It
Yeah.
had it not been that, Hunter would have just flipped everything off and then brought it all the way to the other end and then put it back into the other pole, right? And so, or you got the challenge beasts carrying the entire tribe. But it's cool that they had that. And
Yeah.
I like Kevin's story with about his dad. I mean, a good dad story always gets me. And yeah, I like the fact that he sort of like was able to clean the fish with his dad one more time because he wasn't able to do it anymore. Right? I like
Yeah.
those parts of the. I like a lot of the things that happen outside of Yanu.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, all of the highs that I have listed here are basically the non-Yanu stuff. But yeah, I wanted
Yeah.
to just sort of I just wanted to reinforce your Tevin's dad scene.
Mm.
That God, that really hit me. Like it's one of those things that really like hits me right where I live. You know, these stories about like parents and children
Mhm.
and the whole sort of thing that makes you stop and think about how much time you're actually spending with the people that you love, that sort of
Yeah.
thing. um something that something that my wife mentioned about like her mom, right? Because she because we rarely go back to her
Mm.
hometown. I mean, like by rarely I mean, like, you know, we probably go there like 4 or 5 times a year or whatever.
Oh.
But you know, it's not like it's not like they live in the same city, and so she doesn't get to see them as much, or
Mm.
she doesn't get to see her family there as much. And she was like, this is how old my mother is. This is how many days a year I get to see her. This means I'm only going to see her this many times, more or less, before she passes away.
Mhm.
And that shit hit me right where I live, man.
Yeah.
And you know, it's one of those, it's one of those things. um and Yeah, man, that line of Tevin was one of those things that like damn nearly brought me to tears, or
Mm.
damn near brought me to tears. The most difficult thing about the next day was that my phone didn't ring, or whatever it was
Yeah.
that he said.
That
It
was
was like,
that was a beautiful line, man. I mean,
I was like, oh my god. No wonder they gave you the opening monologue of the season. Like, you know, I don't know.
yeah.
That's that's the sort of eloquence that I aspire to.
Yeah. That sequence was just like really, yeah, me as well. I was like, was close. I was close to tears, but yeah. Well, all the more for me because I lost my dad back when I was young. So,
Yeah.
and then to have something like that on the screen, right? I don't particularly like Evan. Yeah,
Mhm.
but him sharing that story, that sort of like, okay, I guess he's not that bad of a guy. He's got that story.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I like the fact, and I think that this is the product. This is what we get for having 90 minutes to play with, right? The CBS having 90 minutes to play with, showing us a lot more camp life. Although the fact that this episode was still more or less dominated by Banu and Yanu, we still get a lot of that. We got a lot of the camp life in Yanu, and we got the scheming. We got the social butterfly, social soda as a social butterfly. We got all of that, and we got Siga doing uh, their whole digging because of Gem. Right. So we had all of, and I think that this whole thing of Tevin being like us getting rewarded or us getting to see this confessional by Devin. That was really nice. That was really
Yeah.
nice.
Devin, man. Um, I'm gonna like reinforce that as well. That it was really nice to see his backstory tie into a thing that was going on. Other than something that I really find kind of annoying about reality shows sometimes is when they give the backstory and all the backstory tells us is I'm going to be competitive in this game because I grew up poor
Mm,
or something like that. Or like, like bro, woe was me. I'm gonna win $1 million because of it, right? But like, Tevin's um Tevin's sob story was what was the sob story that tied directly into camp life,
mm,
right? And it sort of framed it better than, you know, say I was a fat kid in high school. You know, I don't know how to explain it, but like there are two
That was
different
messy.
types of sob story that you
mm-hmm,
have in Survivor, and some of them I find just
Okay.
unbearable. Some of them I find just like, oh my god, what is this? What is this trash? This is a cheap pop, you know.
mm-hmm,
And then others I
So
find very
wrestling.
others I find tremendously thoughtful and weave themselves into the story or into the narrative very nicely. And this Tevin one was, a great example of the latter. Like this is something that fits. It isn't something that we put in for like a cheap, you know, for cheap tears or whatever.
mm-hmm,
Whatever the version of cheap pop or cheap heat is for, feeling sorry about somebody.
mm-hmm.
you know I don't know.
Yeah,
And or feeling some sort of, I don't know, like Banu has a great backstory. I just don't like how they
yeah,
incorporated it.
yeah,
Like that was,
yeah.
that's an example of the former where it's just insufferable. um
I mean, it would
yeah,
have been nice to see him become like a provider for Yanu because of the fact that it wasn't it him who said that this is how I live even before when they came onto the camp
yeah,
the first day.
yeah,
This is how I live. This is me. I can do this. I can do that. If well then again because I mean the other conspiracy theory is that Survivor is scripted, but yeah, right. So if it was actually scripted, then Banu would have been like, I am Mr. Provider, because this is my
yeah,
backstory, right? If they then they would incorporate it that way. But here it yeah, like what you said, it seamlessly was part of the episode, was part of the story, and that I think that's what made it even more powerful, right? The fact
yeah,
that it
yeah,
something that he learned with his dad is now something that he said that right. It how fortunate he feels that something that his dad taught him, he was able to use something that his dad taught him to bring food to these people who needed it, right?
yeah. And the scene where he has the five fish on a stick and he's bringing it over to the tribe. It just felt cathartic.
Mm,
At least for me viewing it, right? It was a moment of catharsis when he brings that. It was like the culmination of something beautiful, right? And
yeah,
there was a lot more context, and there was a lot more meaning behind, fish on a stick, as opposed to what it would have been without his sob story.
yeah.
It would have just been like, hey, here's some fish on a stick. But then because of his sob story, like all of a sudden this is something that is, pregnant with meaning,
Hmm.
right?
Kudos to Survivor Productions for being able to put that together and being able
Yeah.
to tell the story better, right? Because they could have stuck the sob story after he came in with the fish, right? But
Yeah.
because they prefaced it with the sob story, his background, his backstory. That's what happens. So that's I can understand what you're saying. How it gave that moment more feeling, more power.
Yeah. You know what they could have done with Banu? And I'm just, I mean, uh if they wanted to incorporate his backstory a little bit differently, apparently they suffered like a storm again, right? Like or
Oh,
there was like a lot of rain or whatever, like one night, right? Which is why they were so eager to give him the
get the
tarp.
tarp. Yeah.
Yeah. Like they could have they could have given they could have given us, shots of the rain
Mm-hmm.
and then Banu talking about how this was my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Ooh,
True.
that, right? Because like, you know, um this is directly showing the audience what Banu is thinking or what Banu was feeling when he was growing up in poverty, to
Mm-hmm.
see like the rain falling through like the thatched roof, and have even if it's just a voiceover, like I grew up like this is my life, this is what my life was growing up, or something like that, right? It would be, I feel like it would have been, a better way to present that part of his backstory, or at least that specific image of like growing up under a thatched roof,
Mm-hmm.
um if it was cut against um the rain, you know maybe something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hire me, Survivor.
but yeah, we never know. I mean, they probably never got those shots, or I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah,
yeah,
we're going back to Banu.
yeah,
Anyway,
let's not already
any other
bring back
highs?
the
Any
bun.
other highs?
yeah. I have two highs that are outside of the show.
Go ahead.
Um,
Okay.
so the first one, apparently the tree that Siga was digging under was the poop tree of like one of the other tribes. I just found that really funny. Like I
Why
think
did
if I
one
did,
of the survivors, one of the castaways from the previous seasons, mention it or something?
yeah. I think it was like from 43, like Carla or something,
Oh yeah,
mentioned
you're right.
that like that was their poop tree.
And it's been like a year or two or less.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's still
yeah,
kind of
Yeah. So yeah, so it's helped the tree to grow stronger,
yes. Thank
yeah.
basically.
God. I thought
I
it was
found that
season
so funny.
45. That would have been more growth.
I found it so funny. Like apparently that was the poop tree of like
Uh,
the Coco tribe or something. Like,
So there were coconuts there. The
basically.
coconuts you want.
And sort of tied to that whole like gem planting via, you know I
the,
guess it
big-
was
the,
planting or whatever. I don't know.
Mhm.
Um I could talk about that as sort of a low as well, but the high that I got from it is another meta high. Um, when was it? Mariah that says that like Jeff doesn't lie.
Mm.
That's one of the like basic rules of Survivor. And the one thing that that went through my head when she mentioned that as one of the basic rules of Survivor was that Jeff doesn't lie, was that that hourglass,
Okay.
because that was one of the times in Survivor history when very clearly Jeff has lied by saying, you are immune,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
You win immunity. Like, there have been other times where, as Jeff himself puts it, they were creative with words. I never said anything about a merge. Haha,
Hmm.
too bad,
Yeah.
Shian. Like, you're screwed. Um, but like, uh, that hourglass, even though at the end of the day it led to my favorite winner of Survivor of all time, um for obvious bias reasons, go Erica. uh but yeah, that was one time that Jeff lied, and that was the one time that the rule was kind of broken.
Hmm.
And the high here is that during the On Fire podcast, Jeff actually admitted that the change history twist was not a good idea
Good job. At least.
because it broke the rule of Jeff doesn't lie.
Mm-hmm.
And so for Jeff to actually admit that in in the podcast was I suppose like a moment of vindication for somebody like Danny, right? From 41,
Yeah.
who was like super pissed,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, so that was the high.
Nice.
That he actually admitted. Mart's Danny McRae. You look kind of confused.
Oh,
Danny McRae, the
guy
football
from
player.
the challenge,
The football player,
the
the-
guy who technically won the challenge US as well after Survivor for okay. Damn,
The one
big guy.
who
Okay.
was part of the Mergatory feast,
Yeah.
but because of Erica, became one of the guys who were up for elimination.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he also had a really good dad story, if I remember
Hmm.
correctly.
He did.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah,
yeah,
he was the one who was like mad at his dad for the longest time, right?
yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah. So, Jeff actually admitting that change history or the hourglass was not good
Mm-hmm.
was quite the high. It was the meta high. It wasn't like specifically on the episode. It wasn't specifically about the episode, but something that I feel is healthy for Survivor. you
Mm.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Marts, do you have any other highs?
No, for me, nothing. I
Okay.
think we discussed all the highs. It's
Oh well,
basically
I do still have a couple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. For one, because I noticed this in the last these two highs of mine aren't as cool as Joe's, but yeah. I noticed in the last episode during one of the challenges that Soda was like while Nami did something. I don't quite remember what that was. She was like, "That's how you do it." She was the one who said, "That's how you do it."
Yeah.
And then during this episode, when I think it was Soda who like flopped into the water, and then Jeff was like, "That's how you do it." So it's like for me, that the effect of that was like it's Jeff saying, "No, that's my line. You got my line in the previous challenge. This is how. That's where you say the line."
Jeff going sassy, Jeff. No, I
Yeah,
like.
so-
Oh, thank you for pointing that out. I think he said something. That's a dive 5 out of 10 or 5.5.
No, I'll give that a 5.5. That was
5.5.
I think that was
Who?
Kenzie's
Yeah.
dive.
Splash.
Yeah.
Very good.
So, yeah.
Sassy Jeff is back.
Mhm.
I love it.
But not Sassy Jeff in the way that Sassy Jeff was, but like a new iteration of Sassy Jeff. He's the grumpy like grandpa sort of, who you feel like there's a lot of love behind him. Feels a lot like my grandfather. When I would go into his room to watch like cartoons and stuff, he would come in and be like, Samok.
Stop.
Saba, gawas. He was grumpy, but there was love behind it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one, Jeff getting his line back, effectively, from Soda, and the other high that I got is Devin checking under the bench. That's how a super fan
I
should.
didn't notice that. I did not notice that.
Yeah.
That's why he's angling like that when he was sitting down. I
Yeah.
noticed that's where they usually get it.
He
on the
actually
bench.
did check. He actually did check. I mean, the camera was panning, and you could see Devin like looking under the bench. He was actually actively looking under the bench when the two from Siga were right behind him, cheering on Siga. Right. So that's how super fans think.
Yeah.
That's how you do it on Survivor.
Yeah,
That's
basically.
how you do it.
Yeah.
Damn it,
Yes.
Bhanu.
Okay, so that was a lot of discussion on the highs, but Where there are highs, there are lows. So let's go ahead and go to the lows. Who wants to start?
Uh, a lot of the lows, I think, are gameplay are Banu lows, right? Like
Yeah.
Banu's sort of gameplay. I alluded to this at the beginning of the episode, or when I was being introduced on this show. It was cringe, you know. It was it
Mhm.
was it was kind of cringe, man. Like when he was on his knees and all of that. Like,
Mhm.
dude, come on, that's a little much.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was the
Um,
performer in him, I think.
Thespian.
the greatest thespian that Survivor has
Yes.
ever seen. All right, I'm going to have that as my headcanon now. Um, just a question about Gem's gameplay. Um,
Hmm.
was the stunt that she pulled, that she is pulling, do you think that's good gameplay or not? Because I can't.
Oh.
I'm feeling like it's a low gameplay wise.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You know.
I actually have that like but yeah, it's part of yeah. Yeah, I have it as part of my predictions. But anyway, I do think that it's low as well. Because yes, you replanted the Beware advantage. Yes, everyone else found it. Maria particularly. And now they're on a wild goose chase looking for a non-existent second clue. And what happens now if uh, when 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 they don't ever find that second clue ever, and then sooner or later, the fact that you were the one who found the beware advantage earlier and now have an idol, say for example, uh, what happens when that comes to light? Your game is immediately torched. Right?
Mm.
Jem's game is immediately torched. No one will trust her ever again. Right? She'll have a huge target on her back as soon as that comes to light, which inevitably it will come to light. And yeah, I don't think that it was. Yes, she had her giggles, but I don't think that it's gonna come. It will do anything for her gameplay wise.
Going back to like quotes from Christopher Nolan's amazing Batman series.
Mm,
Uh Christopher Nolan's amazing Batman trilogy. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
mm.
And it was
Yeah,
her in this episode.
yeah.
In this case, it was her just, or could last week we were talking about the hole, right? Like that they were digging,
Mm.
and all that. Could the hole that they were digging be symbolic of the hole that she is digging herself in?
True. It could be. It could be Survivor producers like being all trying to be as cinematic as Australia. Uh, uh
Symbolic. It's symbolic.
yeah.
Symbolic.
So yeah. So they're like I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. But really for me, it's not good gameplay on Gem's part. Definitely not good gameplay on Gem's part because she immediately paints herself into a corner, digs herself in
Yeah.
a crucial. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's not. It's not gonna turn out well for her if she ends up getting the idol and has to reveal how she got the idol to anyone else, even if it's not from Siga, right? Even if she reveals it to anyone who's not from Siga, because it'll go back to that fact that
Mm.
she replanted the beware advantage, and it'll paint her as someone who's not trustworthy. Right? Yeah.
And it's interesting that it's in the same episode as Banu, where Banu played himself into a corner. And I don't know if this was intentional on the part of the producers, but like they're also showing us the beginnings of Gem painting her, or playing herself into a corner. Um, I suppose that's a production high, but like let's just say that let's just say that to fill out the lows, the part
Yeah.
of this episode, let's go with
The
the
quota
gameplay
for
lows.
lows.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
gameplay lows.
Well, I'll stick to that. I'll stick to Gem's gameplay and
That
the
was
hole
bad.
on the ground and what you've revealed to be the poop
The poop
tree.
tree.
Uh,
The poop tree.
I don't know how I feel about Survivor Prod putting a camera in the hole to try and
Mm.
tell a story. I mean, we've all been the way that Survivor has been shot always has been we're observing the castaways,
Yeah.
right? We
Yeah.
are, and then for them to put that in the hole again, they're probably trying to become more cinematic, more try to get some other so that would have meant that they told the castaways
Yeah.
stop
To stop. Yeah. Like
stop, we will put a camera in the hole and then you can continue to dig, right?
it
Mm.
feels unnatural now that you say
Yes.
it, right? Because like,
Yeah.
how did you put that there and they're there? Oh shit, you asked them to stop, didn't
He
you? Like
said shit.
I'm like, oh,
In the poop tree.
in the poop tree, where there was literal human excrement in said tree, and you just
Mhm.
dropped your gear there. So,
Yeah, right. So yeah,
yeah.
it's not really something that I
Mm.
think helps in the telling of the story, right? It was put there for an effect, uh, and I don't know if it worked. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Like for the most part, no, they like to focus on like if it's a group of people, they're usually like mid or like long shots. No? Like
Mm.
they never and they're usually like sort of the sort of eye level type shots. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because it's supposed to be us observing how they work, how they interact. I mean, we and then we would have Jim Halpert shots of Jem doing a gym, looking at the camera, smirking at the camera, right? And like, ooh, they're digging at some at the place that
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, you know, not you mentioned, yeah, it is kind of weird, huh, to have like the fourth wall broken in sort of group setting,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because like that usually happens with confessionals. Like confessional is where the fourth wall is broken,
Yeah.
and like the fourth wall remains intact when you have like camp life and idle hunts and stuff. So yeah, that's I
So
didn't
yeah.
think about that. Yeah, it makes sense.
So yeah, it didn't work for me in the whole experience of the episode.
Hmm.
Yeah. Of course, what
Yeah.
also didn't work for me was the fact that my winner pick was playing a little bit too hard, uh,
Yeah.
doing a swati,
That's okay.
doing a swati. So yeah, I hope that she didn't say that anyone was her number one. Uh, yeah, but yeah, Soda. I hope that you can pull the brakes
Hmm.
on whatever it is you're trying to do. Any other
Uh,
lows, guys?
oh,
What's that
Martin?
challenge? What's the reward challenge? The ring, the one that Hunter
Yeah,
kind
the
of.
rings. Yeah.
yeah.
It felt a bit unfair that it has to be everyone that had to do that because they're. But I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know. I
that was a
didn't
high
find it.
for me. That was a high for me.
Okay.
It leveled the playing field. Otherwise, Hunter and Q would have just dominated that
Yeah.
that game, right? And
We've
they did.
seen
In the end, they did. Yeah.
They still did.
we've
I just
seen
feel bad for Mama Maria. You know.
Yeah.
we've seen two we've seen this play out in two ways, right? Like one um is this episode where the throwing rings over the stick thingy is something that levels the playing field. But then like with 44 and Carolyn, right? Carolyn, that was the thing that was the big roadblock for them because she couldn't, for the life of her, no matter how much she did her screaming thing,
Mm.
like
Oh
she
yeah.
couldn't get the ring over the over the stick.
Yeah.
That was what was going through my head when it came to like Maria,
Hmm.
initially not being able to bring the ring or being able to throw the ring over. Um, yeah. So I don't know. I think, um, I think I'm more with Joel on this one though. Like, it's something that levels the playing field a little bit.
Yeah. And
Uh,
it didn't have to be a puzzle.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
actually.
yeah. But then, like, you can also see the like one of the criticisms, sort of criticisms, of modern Survivor is that um put in put in gender studies terms is the pre-merge is dominated by women getting kicked out. Um, put in more survivory terms, the pre-merge is focused on strength
Mhm.
over strategy,
Yes.
which sort of women have an inherent disadvantage in. And including something like this kind of reinforces perhaps perhaps a sort of meta that we don't really want to have in the
Yeah,
game,
Mm.
that's true.
right?
Mm.
Because like what Survivor is saying is you're not going to be able to survive if you have an older woman in your tribe, because historically older women haven't been able to throw this ring off of the stick
Mm.
in the people of Carolyn and Maria. So like I can see Martin's point.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they focused on it. It just I didn't like that.
Well, yeah, because it's the Sega tribe. They're all you can do it,
Kumbaya.
right?
Kumbaya.
Wait,
They're-
is it the fact that like is it the fact that they showed her not being able to do it properly, or is it the fact that she wasn't able to do it properly that makes it a low for you, Martin? Because those are two separate things.
Ah, the show of it, like we could have just focused on the other. It felt a bit long. Maybe it's just me.
Oh,
It, it,
okay,
it
all right.
reminds me of that other time. I think it was Suri or post heroes at winners at war challenge that another older lady couldn't finish the obstacle, and it took after that challenge to finish that they willed her to finish that obstacle, just that part, and then yay, and then they hug,
no, that wasn't
that
that
thing,
wasn't
the
the
kumbaya thing.
was it an old lady? No, it wasn't an old lady.
Who
It was
was
the one
that?
who in the nets, right? In the mud.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the one with a prosthetic limb?
But it's not the recent season though. I think it was 41, 42. I keep forgetting, but I think
It
it was
wasn't it
either
43,
Tiff.
the season of Gabler?
Ah,
Yeah.
there. Is that the one?
What
Yeah.
what's her name?
The athlete,
Let me
the
yeah.
para athlete, right?
Oh yeah.
Let me like
Where it was
pull
the
her name
challenge
up.
was already finished.
Noel
Ah, there.
Lancaster.
Yeah.
Noel,
I
right?
like that.
Noel, but
Yeah.
she was still
Noel.
in that whole embutido thing.
Yeah. The mud. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
and they just wanted her. She just they wanted to help her, and she was like, "No, don't help me. I'm gonna get
yeah.
myself out of you." Right?
I don't know.
All right. So like um the I don't know if like gonzo is the right term. The gonzo-ness of it of
Mm.
showing people struggling in the
I don't know. It might also. I mean, this probably is the effect of Siri. You know,
Yeah.
because this all
Actually.
started with Siri Fields and that whole
mm,
that plant, right?
Yep.
And them wanting her to
To finish
conquer
it. Yeah.
her fear and all of that. That's probably the same thing here, and it was the same thing with Noel, right?
so like
It
the
it became a powerful thing back then, but for this one, because it was the first stage of the challenge.
Yeah.
So
like the show's grotesque fascination with older women struggling in challenges is what Martin's down is.
Yeah.
All right,
maybe
Like
all right,
it's
maybe
46 seasons, guys.
all right.
Hmm, yeah. But yeah, speaking of supportiveness, I don't know how much I feel about how supportive the other teams are for the sad Yanu tribe. I mean,
Uh,
yes, it's
they can
cool. I mean,
support.
it's cool. because I'm sorry much, but I'm gonna have to go back to Survivor Australia. They in Survivor Australia, they're supportive of each other. There are only two tribes there, but after the win, the winning team still like goes to the losing team and they're like, good game, good game. They know that it's a game because they know that it's a game.
Australian
Like,
Survivor.
yeah,
Australian
Australian
Survivor.
Survivor.
Yeah.
But in
Okay.
Survivor
Not season 2.
US, yeah,
Oh,
not season
okay.
two, not Survivor Outback. Uh,
Okay.
Australian Survivor. It's like that. But in Survivor US, yes, they have that whole you can do it. Don't worry about it. Keep your head up. It seems a little too extra for
It's
the way that
hammy.
they yeah the way that
Mm.
It's too
they
hammy.
support the losing team.
It's a
So
siguro. It's a it's a Survivor super fan thing siguro because like because we all know that the way to the proper way to react is to be like over the top in Survivor, right?
mm,
Like
The car
like
signal. The car.
yeah, like
The car.
you know, it's Denny's. Oh my god,
mm.
Denny's! Like, oh my god, my first child was born in a Denny's parking lot. You know?
Oh my god.
And so whenever we have their waffles, I'm brought back to the happiest moment of my life. I don't know. I don't like Denny's very much.
I've never tried them, so yeah, I wouldn't really have.
Overpriced.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Olive Garden! Ah!
Outback. Isn't Outback the second season? Oh my god, free Outback. Like that.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't. On Survivor US, it's the supportiveness is a little over the top.
Yeah,
Uh,
I can see that. I can see that.
I don't know. Maybe it's because remember how I said I like how soda's like really really bubbly and up, right?
Mhm.
Maybe
Hmm.
it's like my age coming back to me and making me grumpy, seeing all of this, seeing all of this like kumbaya and niceness, you know.
It's very yeah. Maybe it's an American culture thing. Maybe it's an American culture thing. Like people um have an overall friendliness to them, at least in certain parts
Mm.
of the US. Like sometimes when I'm at a restaurant in the US, it feels very saccharine.
Mm.
Interacting with the wait staff, right? Or like at a comic book store, the person behind the counter feels excessively friendly. Maybe it's a US thing. But then on the other hand, like you're walking around like Jersey City, like everybody's an asshole. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I suppose it might be a culture. It might be a cultural thing because people in the service industry in the US are just super extra.
Mm.
Like I don't know. I don't know. Um it's like the opposite of what you would find in a place like Europe, where like you walk into like a restaurant in Spain, they're just like hola. And it's like in the US, they're like, "Hi, welcome to whatever." Like, I find that Asia tends to be like just a nice middle ground. Like I'm happy where I am, where people aren't super extra, but except in Japan, like those guys are super extra in Japan. Like when you walk into a
Mm. Yeah.
Japanese restaurant here, that's pretty much what it's like in Japan,
Oh.
right? But
Really?
where they yell because apparently the louder you yell, the more polite, the more welcoming you are. you
Know
know
that.
they're supposed to be like happy that you're there, so they're like it's like but yeah, my guess is that it could just be a cultural thing, or it could be like, oh my god, Outback Steakhouse.
Them trying to get on some screen time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be it. That could be
Oh my
it.
god, Outback
And it,
is pretty good, like even the one in Manila, right? Like I've eaten the one in Manila
yeah,
once and it's pretty good.
yeah, 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 yeah. Anyway, any other lows, guys?
uh we've discussed Banu extensively.
Yeah.
um I feel like this episode didn't do him any favors.
Mm.
You know, like again, you might like this episode depending on how much you like Banu, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this episode did him any favors. I ended up getting satiated after the last episode.
Mm.
Um,
I would have
yeah,
wanted him to have like an upward. I mean, what Kenzie said. You just need a what was that? Something she alluded to them after that
yeah,
reward challenge win. If
yeah,
Bano would have like gotten that, I would have been rooting for him because we've seen him at his low, right?
yeah,
And if he picks himself up, learns how to play the game, becomes an Emily Flippin who is able to reinvent himself and figure out how to play the game, that would have been cool to watch.
yeah. That's what I was trying to manifest into the universe last week, right?
Mm. Yeah,
Hoping that Banu would make a 180, but
yeah. He
unfortunately
stayed the
he didn't.
course.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He was true to himself to a fault.
Hmm. 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 I'm sure that he's a nice guy. I'm sure that he's a nice guy, but
You know,
not
I'm
meant
I'm
for the game.
reminded.
Mm.
I'm reminded of there was this one time in class. Um a student asked me, and it was kind of in jest, but he asked like, "Sir, how do you get chicks?"
Hmm.
Like, "Sir, how do you get girls? How do I get a girl
Oh,
to like me or whatever?" Right? And of course, he kind of meant it in jest, but I took the opportunity as one as a teachable moment, and two as a way to sort of explicate my philosophy of love and sex. Um, and I said one of the biggest lies you'll ever be told about dating and relationships and stuff is that you should be yourself. Like, what if you're a shitty person?
yeah.
Being yourself.
What? Don't be a shitty person.
Or not, did I say no? I was like, what if you're a horrible human being? Or what if you're a
Uh-huh,
terrible
uh-huh.
person? Right? Like, being yourself isn't going to do you any favors when it comes to like the finer the finer sex, right?
Hmm.
Um, so perhaps the better advice is not to be yourself, but to be the best version of yourself. And if you're not the best version of yourself, then you take steps to become the best version of
Mm.
yourself. It feels like Banu took the whole be yourself on Survivor thing a little too like literally, or didn't nuance it with be yourself in a Survivor kind of way, right? Because like being your authentic self on Survivor is only one half of the Survivor equation, right?
Mm.
Because maybe you're just sort of lucky like Jam Jam or Kenzie, where your natural personality is something that can draw people in, and something that facilitates the creation of strong social bonds. But if that's but then if you don't have um sort of a social a strong sort of social game, um whatever that translates to in real life personality, if you don't have a very sociable personality, or you aren't somebody that can forge strong bonds with people, then being yourself on Survivor is exactly the worst thing that you can do. And being your
Mhm.
truest, most authentic self means that you are essentially putting yourself forward as the social pariah of the season. So, I'm sure there's a better version of yourself that can incorporate sort of um, a more social aspect that is fit for the game of Survivor. And I feel like Banu failed to do that. And
Mm.
that was kind of sad.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why he was getting tips from Q. Like, this is a strategy can wait. You just need to build bonds first. He was unable to do that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, even Q really tried, right? He was like, if I'm gonna be with this guy, I need to make him the best that he can be, right? The best
Yeah.
Bhanu that he can be
Yeah.
for the game, basically, for the game. Yeah. Well, yeah,
Um.
we're going back
Yeah.
to Bhanu.
Right here, I have another non. I have a non-Banu
Okay.
low.
Okay.
The lack of Venus content.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
she was
Yeah.
just around. She was around.
Yeah.
Maybe did she even get a confessional in this episode?
Well, she got
Just a few.
the sweep. She was
Yeah,
like
and I was like,
she
she was
was
like
sweeping.
while Soda and Tevin were singing, she was like
She was
sweeping in
sweeping.
front. Oh, poor girl.
On the On Fire podcast, Jeff described that as like a tableau.
Because it looked like perfectly blocked. You've got
Yeah,
Venus in
exactly.
front, and then you've got Soda and Tevin. You've got Hunter a little bit on the side. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now I know what the thumbnail for our episode is gonna
Which one?
there. I suppose that's my non-Banu low.
be. Mm-hmm.
A distinct lack of Venus content.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we always appreciate some Venus content. But
Because
yeah,
while Kenzie is my canonical winner pick,
mm-hmm,
Venus is my low-key winner pick.
mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, Venus, we've seen her at her low in the game.
Yeah.
Now, if she just needs a break, and if she can get her bearings, get her strategic bearings, and goes on what you said before, a revenge tour,
Mhm.
then we can root for her. Right?
Yeah.
Right now, she's like sort of in limbo because
Yeah.
we don't really know yet what the real situation is in Vienna, because the only time that they quote unquote lost was when they lost Randon for Medivac.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, Mart's good.
I'm good. Damn. I have nothing for lows
Uh,
anymore.
All
That's
right,
for me.
so
Got nothing for you.
Got nothing
yeah,
for you.
wow. Shout out to Idled Out. Anyway, uh, okay, so let's go ahead and move to our predictions, starting first with whose
Oh,
line is it actually? So, first of all, none of us got it. None of us got last week's line.
yeah.
Uh,
None of us got it.
yeah.
So Martin,
Yeah.
Martin said that it was going to be Soda that gets the line. His prediction was that Yanu wins a challenge, and
Mm-hmm.
so I suppose Martz gets a point for that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Banu will continue to break down. Are we going to give
Okay, so
Martin a
that's
point for that?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
It's,
All
it's
right.
an easy point. I'll take it.
The low hanging fruit point. Yeah, all right.
Yes. I don't
Joel,
have a
Joel,
point anymore next week.
Joe's
Damn it.
prediction was going to be Maria. There was going to be a tribe swap.
Yeah, didn't happen.
And Banu goes to tribe. Yeah, that supports him, but he still gets voted out. Maybe half a point for getting voted out.
Okay, I'll take the half a point. I'll take the half a point.
There was Siga Medevac.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh.
the fallout of Banu telling others about the tribe. So that didn't happen in this episode, but it's definitely going to happen when they merge.
Mm.
They're setting that up. Um, for me, I said that the quote would go to Tim.
Mm-hmm.
I said that Venus is gonna go to the box and try to break it open. I'm hoping that happens in a future episode.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna keep on predicting that over and over again
Yeah.
until it finally happens.
Well, I mean, the predictions will be there until if it happens, then you get the point then.
And it was and this was gonna go down as one of the worst predictions in Council of Titos history. I predicted that this episode was going to be the beginning for the Banu strategy 180.
What?
The single
Uh,
worst prediction
Yeah,
in our podcast history.
that Bhanu was gonna pull out the strategic move to take out whoever, someone from another tribe.
that he's actually some sort of strategic genius,
Yeah,
and all of this was some
was an
sort
act.
of, like, I don't know, something that we we mere mortals were too stupid to see, but like it all comes together like at the merge. Like all of a sudden, like it flashes back and like, oh my god, that's what he was planning to do all along. And he goes on to win the season, but no,
No,
no, he was just unceremoniously like,
he was not Kaiser Soze.
yeah. So yeah,
Sorry.
that's from our previous predictions. This the next episode is entitled Tiki Man.
What? Tiki Man.
Tiki Man. What do you
That's
got?
hard.
Okay, I'll go ahead and start. I think that it's gonna be Ben, and I think that he will be talking about the idol. I think that they're gonna get the gold immunity idol, and he's like, "Oh, he looks
Okay.
like a Tiki Man."
Uh,
that was exactly my prediction as well. It was Ben. It was like Tiki Man.
Right? He seems exactly like the guy who would say Tiki Man.
I know.
Yeah.
Q? Maybe Q? I don't know. Just throwing it out
You've
there.
got Q saying it. About what? About what?
Them finally having Tiki Man because they'll finally have a
Oh,
immunity
It
win.
could also be like Kenzie or Tiffany. Actually, it
mm-hmm.
could be Kenzie.
Yeah,
It
Mhm.
could be Kenzie. We finally got the Tiki Man.
Mhm.
Yeah, it has to
Mm.
be one of them.
All right,
That's
so
nice. That's nice.
so Martin,
Please
Q,
win. Please win.
Martin Q talking about idol. You know, just so that it's a little bit different, I'm gonna say that it's Kenzie
Okay.
talking about the idol.
Mhm.
That way, you know,
But
that
we're
way
all
there's
like across the board. It's
stakes.
about the idol.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep,
because
yep,
that's
yep.
exactly what the idol is, right? Like a tiki
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
you know. And let's talk about Jeff because apparently he's short, but I don't know.
You know what? I've asked a friend what shoes Jeff is wearing, and apparently, what I think it's a Pure Boost, Adidas Pure Boost. I've got it in my cart. I'm waiting to like purchase it. No, it's not like a boost for like height. It's like pure boost. I mean, the boost is like the foam in the
Yeah,
shoes.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
Wait,
But if anyone out there knows exactly what the Adidas shoes that Jeff wears, please let us know. I want a pair.
is what's it? Is Banu still winning the Sia money? Do we think
Ooh,
after this episode?
after this
Maybe,
episode,
but
probably a
won't be
bit
the
of it
only
because
one. Yeah,
yeah, it's gonna be. He's probably gonna get a portion of it,
yeah.
not the full.
Not all.
Yeah, I mean, like nobody really gets the full Sia money
No,
anymore, right?
before they.
Hi.
Well, yeah, not anymore.
Hi.
Yeah, not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore.
Right?
No,
They used, like
Did High get the entire thing?
it was split, right?
Ty.
Oh,
Oh, Ty.
Thai.
The bald guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah, but that was
Pre-pandemic.
pre Winners at War.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put that in as like an overall prediction of the council. Banu will still win the Sia money.
Sia money.
You know,
Who gets the
despite
Sia money pool?
despite
Yeah.
this episode.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So yeah, like I said, when you asked this during the lows, I do predict that Gems game is gonna blow up. because someone is gonna find out that she replanted the Beware Advantage, and that might be what starts the downfall of the Kumbaya Siga in Siga.
And this
Yeah.
is your prediction for the next episode.
Yeah, for next
All
episode.
right.
Yeah.
Downfall of
Kumbaya no more.
Kumbaya no more. I like that. Um, hmm.
I'm going for them going to tribal Siga
Oh, is
Siga
that
goes to tribal. Huh?
Wow.
for the sake of the remaining trio.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that what's it wins that Yanu wins the challenge.
Yeah,
Say
Mhm.
that I'll
and
predict
wins
that
the
again.
challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
Like now
They
that
have
they
the right
aren't,
tree. They have
you
the
know,
right.
now that they don't have I think it was Peridium that called Survivor 46 suffering from Bhanu constipation.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think it was them,
Yeah,
or maybe it was. Oh yeah, it was. I think it was Brilliant.
yeah, because
Yeah,
like
during their review. Yeah.
So now that we're over this Banu constipation, like we could be
Mhm.
seeing it move on. But yeah, so Yanu, yeah, I'm gonna say Yanu wins. Um Immunity challenge. I'll be specific.
There you
Right? None of that. It can either be the
The
immunity or the reward challenge. I would be specific. The immunity
the
challenge.
immunity challenge. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, speaking of rewards, did they even show what they did for that? They got the what now? The tools, so
And the
Yeah, they
tarp,
got the
yeah.
tools and the tarp.
it
And
was
they
useful
use
to them, right?
Yeah, and they used it as a. They also used it as. We're circling back to Banu.
Yeah.
They used it as
You can't stop
an
talking about Ban.
opportunity. Yeah, they used it as an opportunity to clown on Banu, right? When they
Hmm.
were fixing up their shelter,
That's the lady
um,
side. The lady
the ladies are directly across the ladies. Like, oh, okay. So
side.
again, they used it as an avenue to clown on Banu again. So again, I feel pity for the guy, at least in in the context of Survivor. So Siga goes to Martin. Siga goes to Tribal. Uh, any other predictions, gents?
For me, that's it. That's it. Those are my predictions. Oh, I do have the whole Soda and Tevin thing is actually a red herring. I don't think that it's gonna be.
Oh,
It won't happen
Yeah,
yet. Right? Yeah.
yeah. I don't think that it's anything yet.
so they're gonna vote together, basically.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
what's it ends up going to Tribal.
If
If
Nami.
if Nami goes to Tribal.
Mm,
But
So
that's not
if
me.
Nami,
No.
mhm.
Tevin and Soda vote together. I mentioned this earlier, um, about like an actual conspiracy theory,
Mm,
uh, where there is actual conspiring that goes on. My conspiracy theory is that um Australian Survivor and US Survivor are in cahoots, right? And the end of Australian Survivor, like the Australian Survivor season was spectacular,
yes.
right? Or and like the back half of of Rebels versus
Titans.
Titans versus Rebels, right? Like the final 2/3 or the back half of that season was just absolutely amazing. Actually, like wall to wall, we can say that the whole season was
Mm,
amazing. And the end of that season overlapped with US Survivor.
mm-hmm.
And the first little bit of Survivor 46 was kind of slow.
Mm,
It's
mm.
definitely not one of the best new era seasons that we've had.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And so my conspiracy theory is that US Survivor is sandbagging for the sake of like highlighting how good Australian Survivor is.
Mhm.
And now that Australian Survivor is over, US Survivor can start to like take off.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
So
That's
like my
interesting.
prediction is this is where the season is going to pick up.
Mhm. That is
Uh
interesting.
regardless of whether or not there's an actual conspiracy theory here going on. Since they've gotten over the Bhanu constipation or whatever,
Mhm.
this is going to be the Kenzie diarrhea.
Oh.
Oh, here we go again with the scatology, man.
Ah.
The poop tree.
The poop tree.
But yeah,
Yes.
so this is where the season is going to pick up.
Mhm.
Like
Okay.
we're going to be here more or less the same time next week being all like, "Oh my god, this is amazing episode."
Mhm.
Because like these past couple of episodes, I'm going to say that I've had a lot more fun talking about the episode with you guys than I actually did
Then actually
watching the
watching it.
episode. Like I don't know if I mentioned that on air last time or if it was something that I mentioned after we were
Mm.
done recording. But next week, my prediction is going to be we had just as much fun watching the episode than we do talking and talking about it.
Mhm.
So, this is where the season is going to pick up. Yeah.
That's. I hope that that happens. Yeah, because yeah, the season so far has been mid at most. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel a little bit of Banu in me though, like this sort of unbridled optimism.
Even when he's gone, we're still talking about him.
Oh, by the way,
He's
before we
like
do our survivors of the week,
oh
Zelensky.
yeah.
He's like
who do we have now have as Martin's canonical winner pick now that Banu's
Mm,
gone?
yeah.
because it
Who
could
did the show
be
Who?
give credit?
no, but it seems like all three of them just maybe Tiffany, since that's who
Maybe
he
since
confessed his screw
yeah,
up,
and no,
right?
and Tiffany was the one who actually admitted to him
Yeah,
on
we're voting for
before the
you.
tribal that I'm gonna have to write your name down.
Yeah, I think it's by default Tiffany.
Tiffany? Because I can also make an argument for Q
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
because Q um but Q deciding not to go for Kenzie made Banu the target.
Ah,
okay.
Right? Because like last episode, right? He was like Kenzie got really lucky because like the move was to
yeah.
was going
Yeah,
for Kenzie.
for Kenzie.
And like because Q was like, all right, let's go back to plan A, which was to get rid of Banu. It was Q making that call that ultimately made it, the decision to get Banu. I don't know. I don't know. So Martin, if you were to pick, who do you think has a better chance of winning, Tiffany or Q?
By default, I feel it should be Tiffany.
Right?
I
Okay.
think, regardless of who I feel has more upside. Tiffany,
Okay.
Tiffany, Tiffany.
All right. So there we go. Let's
Let's
put
go with
that
that.
on.
Let's go with
Let's
that.
put that on record. All right. Let's go
So far,
ahead.
Joel is ahead.
Surviving.
So far,
Wait,
Joel
who's
is
his
ahead
pick?
in the winner pick soda.
Soda.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So
Yeah,
far,
the
Joel is
social
ahead in
butterfly, but she's
And,
in
and
danger.
and I'm saying I hope they don't lose until merge, right? So
Yeah.
that's a longer life life.
Yeah.
and Joel is
Higher
also
chances.
winning in our predictions game
Yes, actually.
So far, so far, so far.
On a
with
roll.
3.5 points. Martin with 2.5, and I have one because like whatever it is I predict, just
Mhm.
whatever the opposite is, that's exactly what's
That's
going
exactly
to
what's gonna
happen.
happen.
It's sort of like when you find like an eyelash or something, right? Like you
Mhm.
put your fingers together and you say like up or down, and then you supposedly get a wish or whatever if you like get it
Predict where it
correctly,
goes. Yeah.
right? Almost 100% of the time, I get it exactly wrong. Like that it's a statistical anomaly there, you know. So I'm like, So when my wife was like, up or down, like whatever the opposite of what I say is, down, and like the eyelashes like up. Oh my god! So whatever my prediction is, the opposite is going to happen, which means we're in for a rough season, boys.
Strap yourselves in. It's gonna be hard. Oh well.
All
Anyway,
right.
sorry.
Okay. Anyway, so let's go on to our survivors of the week, starting with Castaway. Sorry, Castaways of the week, starting with Survivor of the week.
Oh God, Hunter.
Oh,
Oh wow. Why?
He Rick buried his team to victory. Basic fundamentals
Mhm.
wins the game.
Mhm. Yeah, I actually did have him also as my. Sorry, yeah, it is Castaway of the week. I have him also as my Castaway of the week. Aside from championing the Rick Barry shot,
Yes.
uh, he's showing us that he's not just a challenge beast, but he's also a strategic player.
That's good.
We're seeing a
Longer
different
life.
facet of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's already giving names. Like, I mean, it is granted it is my winner pick, but the fact that he is thinking that way makes this his episode.
yep.
Yes.
What about Joe? You
Nope.
also got Hunter?
I'm gonna have to go with somebody different, just because well, I just want to. It'd be boring if all three of us
Yeah,
just sort
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
agree, right? Yeah. So I'm gonna say it's Tevin.
Oh, I like that too. That's good
Okay.
too.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
that's
say I'm gonna say it's Tevin, right? Because he got
He got it rolling. He got it.
closure.
mm-hmm.
Not closure, but like
Oh.
he got he got that last moment with his dad,
Mm-hmm.
where he got to clean fish with his dad in a manner of speaking. So
Mm-hmm.
he was able to make his father live on. I suppose the castaway of the week is Tevin's dad.
For providing us with that moment that became so
Yeah.
powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, and because Tevin got him to like live on, right? So like
Mhm.
Tevin for that.
Yeah. Nice, nice, nice. All right, let's move on to goat of the week.
Jam, Jam, the one in green, the
Gem.
one who,
Gem.
Gem?
Gem and the
Uh,
holograms.
yeah. Gem is her
Why?
name.
Why?
Interesting.
Her move could cause a bit of laughs for her now, but in the long run, I don't think that's gonna bode well for her if she makes it to the end. It doesn't seem like good gameplay. How we call that? Social wise, like everyone was busy in the tree, but what if the editors caught someone eyeing her and like saying, "Wow, she doesn't want to help. Why is she not helping?" And every one of us is like digging here. I have a feeling Tim was eyeing her. They just didn't caught it, and it might, cause the start of her game's downfall.
Oh, what? But in the next time on, Tim does sort of confront her about
Yeah.
Oh shit! So
during the
yeah,
walk,
there you go. There you go.
and then she's
Yeah.
also throwing doubt on Tim being the one who replanted the clue.
Yeah, I find it ridiculous, right? Where she was like, he's trying too hard he's trying too hard. He must have been the one that planted it. Like,
She seems to be trying
you're
too
not
hard.
digging. You might be the one.
digging. Hello, like the most obvious person. Nothing. I wonder why. Huh.
I don't know, overcompensation or
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. Who do you have, Joe?
Nice.
uh, 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 mm, Mariah.
Mariah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Because she can't jump.
she can't jump.
Oh,
Homegirl can't jump.
Mo.
Yeah,
Mo.
yeah. No, not Maria.
Not
Mariah.
Maria. Yeah.
Mariah.
Yeah, because homegirl can't jump.
Okay. All right. I actually do also have Gem precisely because of that. I think that she, as Zhao said, has dug herself into a hole that will be very hard for her to get climb out of. And yeah, she got the beware advantage. She planted the clue, and because of that, she creates such animosity. I don't think that she planned far ahead when she replanted the clue. She was just like, okay, I'm just gonna replant the clue. I'm just gonna have a bit of fun, right?
Yeah, and
I
Yeah.
don't think that her whole thing of I replanted it so that people will not think that I have it or anything like that. I think that that was just
purpose.
a load of poopy. Going back to scatology, uh,
Yeah. Uh, poor gameplay.
very
Very
yeah.
bad.
Poor gameplay.
Mm-mm. 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 Mm-mm.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So yeah, that's me. That's Gem. Gem did
Yeah.
not do herself any favors. Okay, go. Let's go to purple of the week. What you got?
Ooh, Venus. Not too
Oh,
much Venus. You know, that's all I can say.
Yeah. Well, if you mean my purple tribe member of the week, Kenzie, she's my winner pick.
Ah, okay.
Um,
No, not your word.
pero, pero ano, well, but everybody on the season not named Banu, like I think that might work as a purple of the week.
It's obvious. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true.
I mean,
Because
like, you know,
every high was not him. Was not today.
I suppose ironically, that means that's like the serious purple of the week, you know? It's not like the joke purple of the week, which it sounds like it might be, but like really this episode was just so heavily Banu
mm-hmm.
that you know it feels like everybody else again was just sort of secondary in focus. Even even if you know they're starting to get their own stories, like it's still being overshadowed by sort of the specter
Banu.
of Banu, right? He's like the Godzilla of
Mm-hmm.
or like, you know, if you have Mothra flying over like a city or something, like that's Banu, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
everybody not named Banu,
Yeah.
most especially Venus. I alluded to this earlier.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, any other notes for this episode, gentlemen?
No, I'm pretty good, my
Who's
friend.
your purple of the week, Joe?
Oh yeah.
Oh, oh yeah. My purple of the week is Gem's sense.
Okay.
In replanting that beware advantage. I'm sorry. Yeah, no sense at all. No sense at all. That
Woohoo.
girl
Yeah.
did it
Mm-mm.
for
I can't
laughs.
Mm-mm.
I can't believe none of us said that like the actual purple of the week was the thing that they were digging for.
True, true. Oh wow, I
Okay.
didn't think of that. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
Anyway.
guys.
So yeah, wait. So yeah, so if there is nothing else, gentlemen,
No, no.
that
Mm-mm.
is it for this episode. We would, of course, greatly appreciate it if you hit the like button so we don't get voted off the channel. At any rate, this has been Joel Parkon.
I'm Zhao and go Kenzie.
Martin. Peace out. Ooh.
We hope to see you again on the council soon. Until then, stay safe, mga kalaro. Titos.